Hi, I'm David, founder and car expert here at Motorenn, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about the third generation Bentley Continental GT, that's the coupe, and GTC, that's convertible, and really share with you a little bit about who this car is for in today's market. Ultimately, you have a couple choices with this vehicle, starting with the base V8 that provides 562 horsepower, up to the top of the line Speed W12 that has 650 horsepower. Overall, these vehicles are all relatively similar throughout the range and are really targeted at the executive professional who wants a luxury vehicle with a bit of a sporty edge to it. I want to be clear, it is not a sports vehicle. Key features to look out for on the Bentley Continental. You need to understand that from 19 through 24, which is again the third generation iteration of it, it's not that changed throughout each of the years. Slight adjustments were made in terms of some of the options you could choose, and then Bentley did introduce a couple more model iterations in terms of the S and the speed versions of this vehicle, which primarily just provided horsepower boosts in terms of performance. There is a new version coming out. Bentley's looking to hybridize that system, and there's a slight update to the overall front fascia, but again, we're not seeing a massive evolution in terms of the Bentley Continental going into 2025. Looking at the third generation that we have behind us, again, there's a couple of things you want to look for. One is what trim level you're working with, whether it's the base V8, the V8S, the W12, and then the speed variants of both the V8 and the W12. In terms of some of the options you want to look out for in these vehicles, of course, with Bentley, you can make a lot of customization choices, but there are a couple packages that really come standard that people are looking for, whether it's touring or the city, which kind of incorporates some of the adaptive cruise control and parking sensor components. It's very important to have. But one of the main ones that people really look for are the Motorenn package. It's something Bentley really pushes and tries to sell, and it's a very much so a kind of a luxury type of option. It doesn't really provide a lot of technology. What it does do is provide you a lot more luxury optionality. And so what you'll see is one, quilted leather seating, so it provides a little bit of a visual aspect appeal to that. You'll also get a lot more choices in terms of the veneers you want inside, whether you want different and higher quality types of wood veneer or maybe go into carbon fiber or aluminum in terms of some of the paneling. You also get some improvements to the clock face. You get a special Motorenn clock in the vehicle, and then you get some Motorenn badging throughout. Again, it's not getting any more performance, but it is something that buyers of the Bentley Continental often do look for. One of the other options that we find that does make a bit of a difference in terms of how you can enjoy this vehicle is in the sound system. It's a pretty expensive option, whether you want to go for the upgraded Bang & Olufsen sound system or go to the top of the line NIME sound system. The baseline sound system is satisfactory. It doesn't really fit in a vehicle at the $240K plus price point though. You get a 650 watt system with 10 speakers, and it's good. But we have heard a noticeable difference in vehicles that we've sold that had the Bang & Olufsen sound system as an option, and I think that was roughly about a $6,000 add-on, and that upgrades you from 650 watts to 1500 watts, and it takes you from 10 speakers to 16 speakers. And then the top of the line sound system is the NIME sound system, and we've also had a couple of those come through the company, and that is a great sound system, significantly more expensive than the Bang & Olufsen, and it upgrades you to 2200 watts and adds another 2 speakers, so a total of 18 speakers. There is a bit more of a marginal difference between that and the B&O, so if the B&O is fine, then that's the one to get. But if you do want the ultimate, the NIME does make a difference. In terms of problems that we've come across on these vehicles, we haven't seen too many yet. We haven't heard too many horror stories from customers, and we haven't had too many warranty issues that have been reported at present. When we do look at historically on these Bentley Continentals, though there have been reports of issues with the W12. It's been known to be a complicated engine to work on and potentially more expensive out of warranty. We expect that that may be an issue going forward on the W12, so we haven't necessarily seen that yet. Additionally, the air suspension on this vehicle is very sophisticated, and it operates relatively quickly, and it is a system that potentially may leak over time, especially as the rubber and plastic components degrade, so do keep an eye out on that as well. When you're shopping the Bentley Continental, of course, you're also looking at some of the alternative options, and this competes most closely against Rolls-Royce's Wraith and Dawn variants. Of course, the Rolls-Royces, they start about $100,000 more expensive in the base MSRP, compared to the base V8 version of the Bentley Continental. That is about $250 versus $350. But when you're comparing the Rolls-Royces against the Speed W12s, and they start at a much closer price point. Rolls-Royce is significantly more luxurious, has a bit more panache and cachet, is really a tier higher in terms of the pedigree. But again, it's significantly more expensive in terms of what it is. You may also be cross-shopping the Aston Martin DB11 and DBS variants. Aston Martin provides a significantly more athletic feel to the vehicle and a little bit less of a luxury type of experience. So Bentley kind of sits in between the Rolls-Royce and the Aston Martin in terms of overall driving experience. And finally, you may be comparing this against the Mercedes S-Class or Maybach, which is significantly less expensive and provides a very similar level of luxury in a lower presence type of vehicle. If you're looking to save a little bit while still having that luxurious feel, that's probably the way to go. Ultimately, in today's market, luxury vehicles do depreciate, and the Bentley Continental is not an exception to that rule. Generally, what we would expect is significant depreciation coming out of the first 2 years of ownership. So it may make sense to look for one that's a year or two old with a couple thousand miles on the odometer, and you'll save $50,000 to $100,000 off of MSRP when doing so. It may be also wise to take a look at the first couple years of this vehicle. That's like the 2019 and the 2020 versions of this vehicle. Those cars will be out of warranty, but there weren't major changes in the vehicle from 19 all the way to the end run of 2024 in terms of any technology or features that were added on. Again, you will have different variants in terms of power that are available throughout the years, but going to the 19s and 20s, you'll have the most depreciation taken care of for you. So the price of entry into the Bentley Continental, whether again the coupe or the convertible version, will be significantly easier to work with if you're looking at one of those first 2 years and not really missing that much more in terms of the experience, except for it's an older vehicle and may need slightly more maintenance. So if you like this type of content and the type of information we're providing to help guide you in terms of your purchasing and what to consider about these vehicles, please hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.